What's going on, everybody? Joshua Wade here, and I want to thank you for taking the time to check out this video. And the discussion on the docket today is the Antelope Audio Zen Q. In my case, it is the Thunderbolt 3 version, but they do have the USB version, which you can also purchase, and I believe it's about $100 cheaper than what the Thunderbolt version is. So this is actually my second go around with Antelope Audio. I actually purchased this right here originally. This is the Zen Go. So this is the USB only version, USB Type-C only version of the Antelope Audio's kind of entry level line. This is about 550 bucks. I'm sending this back because apparently I got a defective unit. I was getting really weird preamp clicks and pops. No, it was not a clock source issue, and I could not figure it out. I'm running an M1 MacBook Air. Antelope Audio's customer service is stellar, by the way. I see some people have issues in the past with them. That was not the case for me. These guys really went above and beyond to try to help me troubleshoot this thing. We both come to the conclusion that it was just a defective unit, can happen to anybody. So I'm sending this one back today. They were quick to give me the RMA label, but I've already got the Zen Q is right here. It has been working amazingly for this weekend. I had three recording sessions this weekend, and I didn't have any issues with it. Knock on wood whatsoever. Now, having said that, I do have a short list of pros and cons that I have encountered with this interface. None of them to me are deal breakers, but I just wanted to go ahead and put them out there and let you guys know that this is not a perfect interface, but it is damn good. It's very good. So I'm gonna start out with the cons just because I like to just jump right into the cons before I give you the pros. Con number one is the learning curve. It is not easy, super easy to learn. You're gonna have to read your documentation online and watch a lot of YouTube videos on how to do it, because I eventually figured it out. It took me a few hours, but I eventually figured out the routing and everything. But that is con number one. Con number two, it's not really a con to me, but it is a con. As soon as you plug this interface in, you cannot use it. It'll pop up a thing that says you have to register it just to use it, which is a con because with Universal Audio, you have to register your plugins, but you can still, plug the interface in. You can still use it as a standalone interface. You just have to register your Universal Audio account to download your plugins and your content that you purchased with said interface. So that's con number two for me. Con number three, I'm sure they'll fix in like firmware updates or just software updates. It's kind of quirky. It's kind of buggy. It's quirky in a sense that if I save my input settings, my plugin settings, I can save them. If I pull them up in another session, sometimes I have to take a plugin out and then put it back in, because sometimes the plugin just won't register. Like, it won't pick up on any audio or anything. That's kind of a quirky thing for me, but again, not a deal breaker, and I think they'll probably fix that with a software or like a firmware update, hopefully. On to my favorite part of the list are the pros. Number one pro for this thing is the sound quality. Holy cow, it's amazing. I work with a couple regular clients, so I have presets set up in Logic Pro for their EQ because I'm using the Rode NT1. I already have the same setup for that singer, so I have my EQ settings, right? I pulled up the presets for this, and holy cow, the difference. I had to re-EQ and make a new preset because I was EQing his voice for a $100 interface with not so great preamps and not so great converters. And then I put this thing on it, and the highs were enough to cut glass. So I had to go in and pretty much level the EQ and just start over because the preamps are so good, the converters are so good in this thing. The quality is so crystal clear that even my client, and with his headphones on, he looks at me and he goes, "Man, it sounds really good." I was like, I know, it sounds so amazing. So that's definitely the most important pro to me is audio quality, and this thing has it for sure. Pro 2 kind of conflicts with con 2, I guess. Even though you do have to register it online to use it, which is still a con, the registration and the setup is super easy. I went onto Antelope Audio's website, I set up an account. I seriously was rolling within like 10 minutes, 12 minutes tops maybe, and that was with all of my downloads, that was with my driver installs, turning the interface on, opening Logic, and just rolling with it. So 10 to 12 minutes was setup time, and it was super easy. Pro number 3 is expandability / future proofing. I do not typically record more than 2 tracks at one time, and that's usually XY acoustic stereo. I don't really need more than 2 inputs, but the option, should I need it in the future, is there. It's got the optical expansion for 8 additional XLRs at 48 kilohertz. It's got the SPDIF on it. It's got extra outputs on the back of it, so if I want to run a headphone amp or an additional pair of speakers, studio monitors, I can do that. Really cool that that's a pro, because it does future-proof it for me later down the road, should I choose to expand it. One more pro that I'm going to add to the end. I was only going to do 3 pros and 3 cons, but I want to add this one because it's such a big deal to me and probably you and anybody that's a smaller, you know, bedroom or home studio producer. Second headphone output. Oh my God. The biggest oversight in our galaxy is a second headphone out. It just doesn't make any sense to me. 99% of the time, most of us are recording in the same room as the artist that we are recording. Thank you, Antelope Audio. And they have it on the Zen Go also. So for 550 bucks, you get a second headphone out. And that is just amazing to me. So that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully this helped you out if you are looking at the Zen Q, possibly purchasing it, the USB version or the Thunderbolt 3 version. But I'm gonna end this video with that, guys. Remember, it's called Music Theory, not Music Fact. Have a good one. That's what you get when you buy a $50 drum throne off of Amazon.